want to today take you on a theological journey called mirroring. It's called mirroring. That is, when you look at the mirror, you see the mirror, but you don't only see the mirror, you see the object in front of the mirror. The mirror will be the communion, but the object in front of the mirror is what the communion really came here to do. I want to deal with the aftermath of communion, because I don't want communion to become a ritual. If communion is nothing but a ritual to you, it loses its meaning. But I want you to see what the intention of God is for communion. I never took a communion without saying a silent prayer. And the silent prayer is, God, let this communion today mean to me the very thing it meant to you the day you instituted it. Because God don't speak only to the situation you are, but to the end of the situation. So when he told them about the communion, what was the end he was pointing to? Could he have been looking at the book of Mark and John when Jesus sat with his disciples and saying, this is the last communion I will have with you until I have the same in the kingdom of God? Could he be speaking to that end? The end of the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John was the end of the Old Testament. What he started in the beginning of the Old Testament, but he bounced beyond the end of the Old Testament and bounced to the end of ages. Welcome to my class. The aftermath of communion. Let's start it with Matthew 14. And we'll start from the 15th verse of the book of St. Matthew. We will start from the 15th verse of St. Matthew. Now, do not cast me out, that how can he preach communion out of this? I told you I'm mirroring communion. So you won't see communion in my text. But when we look in the mirror, you will see the aftermath of communion. You may not see the communion in my text, but I will pick it in pieces and show you communion in the way you've never seen it. And when it was evening, everybody shout evening. Evening. Well, can I just tell you the story before we go? This is the story of Jesus feeding 5,000 men, not even counting women, with 5 loaves of bread and 2 pieces of fish. And I want to present to you today that that miracle is a story of communion. And when it was evening, can I mirror Exodus 12 and 12? Exodus 12 and 12 say, this night or this evening, an angel will pass. So, in my mirror, the stage is set for evening discussion. What happened here happened in the evening. What happened in Exodus, the 12th chapter, happened in the evening. And Jesus pulled something in the New Testament to parallel what God did in Exodus. Let's go. And when it was evening, his disciple came to him saying, this is a desert place. Wait a minute. Did I just hear desert? This is a desert place. Well, if you are a Bible student, you will know that the place called Egypt is called a desert. So in New Testament, it was evening and they are in a desert. In the Old Testament, It was nighttime or evening, and they are in a desert. The stage is set. Are you ready? This is a desert place, and the time is now past. So send the multitude away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves some victuals. Next verse. But Jesus said unto them, they don't need to depart. If I have time, I can bounce this in so many ways. Because they need sustenance. And they were going to look for sustenance from somewhere else. And Egypt, they need sustenance. They need freedom. And they were going to look for somewhere, revolt everything. They are looking for substance. And Jesus said, no, they don't need to go any further. Sometimes we are looking for something so far away, but it's right here with us. He said they don't need to go any further, because right there in your slavery house, right there with Pharaoh, right there in Egypt, I will wrought your deliverance, and the Pharaoh you see today will no longer be. Hunger was the Pharaoh that they are dealing with, and this Pharaoh, they want them to be sent away so that they can go and look for something to sustain them. Follow me. He said, no, you don't need to send them away, but give them to eat. Where are my students? Man sinned in Genesis through eating.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In Exodus, I'm Genesis now. In Exodus, man will be delivered through eating. That's why in my book, I broke down the bread and the wine, that God made himself into a loaf of bread. And he says, I'm the venom for what bites you in Genesis. So in the next book to Genesis, God established a Passover. And the Passover was through eating. When eating killed them, eating will bring them back to life. God wants you to know that there's nothing that can harm you that he cannot use that harm to bless you. So don't run away from your problem, because in your problem God can bless you. Let's go the next verse. And they said unto him, we have here but 5 loaves and 2 fishes. Do you want to deal with my theological mind this morning? Let's look at it. Let's look at it. 5,000, 5 loaves, 2 fishes. What did God see when he instituted communion? What did Jesus see at the bank when he did this miracle? I want to show you the mirror that Jesus saw, and that mirror gave Jesus the pump within his spirit that, oh my God, at night in a desert, people are hungry. This is perfect. 5,000 has 5, which represent grace. 5 loaves has 5. Somebody say grace for grace. And 2 fishes represent witness. So before I go too far, there is a reason why they have 12 leftovers. Because they got to take something home as a witness to let everybody know we were about to die in the wilderness. But this is a witness to what Jesus did. Just sit down. We going. You sit down. You sit down. It will be an insult to the pregnant nature of this text for me to just talk about this communion without leaping beyond the 22nd verse to see the aftermath of this communion. Because when Jesus portioned them in 50-50 and has the disciples to serve them, that was a communion in the desert. But this text is too pregnant. That is not just talking about the communion, but what happened after the communion. Because if all we do is just swallow some crackers and drink some orange juice or grape juice and never see a result, we have defeated and insulted the pregnant nature of what God has sent to us that we call Holy Communion. We are living beneath our privilege and our knowledge during the VCR age. VCR can perform 24 functions, but we only use 4 to 5 functions. Play, forward, reverse, stop. That's all we know. But there are 24 other functions that our VCR tape can do. And we paid $300 and something at Walmart for 24 functions, and we only use 4 of them. So today we have done communion injustice by not stepping a little bit deeper and see the aftermath of communion. Because God don't only speak to the situation, but he also speaks to the end of things. Let's go. 5,000 were fed. The feeding of 5,000 is a miracle. Everybody shout that. Everybody shout, it's a miracle. Come on, shout, it's a miracle. The problem with this is that you don't know what a miracle is. You don't understand what a miracle is. So to do this text justice, I want to take miracle and break it into pieces. I want to analyze miracle, and then I will apply to this text so that we can get to the other side of the text and see the aftermath. Are you ready to follow me? The 3 components of miracles. Number 1 is called motive. There is a motive for every miracle. The motive for this miracle was called compassion. The motive for feeding these 5,000 people was called compassion, because Jesus saw 5,000 hungry men. It was night. Burger King is closed. We don't have enough money, even if Burger King was open, to buy them food. So no money to buy food. The place is closed. The city is a little bit away. And they came, those of you who went to Israel with us, you know there's no 5,000 in no one city. This is probably about 200 cities, because their cities are so small in those days. This is probably about 200 cities. There's no Uber. They walked. They walked to that place, and they will walk back home. So when Jesus saw the situation, there is compassion. I want to train my prophets this morning. If you want to operate in the supernatural, your first ingredient is to have compassion. Compassion will make you see what others don't see. And go and study Jesus' miracles. Most of the miracles, they will say, and Jesus had compassion upon them. Because compassion will elevate something within your spirit that will cause a power to come upon you. Ingredients that is necessary for miracle. I'm speaking to all my evangelists, all my prophets, all my elders. You want to walk in the supernatural, the first thing is you have to have compassion. You have to have compassion. If you cannot reach them with your compassion, you cannot reach them with your hand. You have to stay where they stay, sit where they sit, and feel what they feel. When compassion step in, anointing flows. Let's sit down. Everybody say compassion. Compassion now becomes a catalyst for creativity. Whenever you have compassion, you are trying to find a way out to help. So your creative juices will start flowing that will have not flown if you care less. But because you have compassion, that juice will start flowing. And once that creative juice start flowing, then you are able to do things you wouldn't have done otherwise. So compassion is the mother of creativity. No, I don't have it to give. But when compassion comes, you will find a way to find it to give. Number 2 ingredient for miracle. Number 1 is compassion. Number 2 is the means. The means. In this situation, the means are 5 loaves of bread and 2 pieces of fish. If you want God to work, you have to put something in God's hand. You have to have something, a means. Whatever your means is, a means will always bring a miracle. Let me show you the means in these. The means in these is called generosity. If the boy was not generous to share the little lunch that was probably not enough for him, if he was not generous enough, there would have been no miracle from his own lunch. The willingness to share is called generosity. Some of you are looking for a miracle, and God already inspected your heart. That there is no single iota of willingness. You are praying for somebody to be able to pay their rent, and you have a pocket full of dead presidents, and there's no willingness in you to go there and touch it, because God will bless you based on your willingness. I have been blessed based on my intention, that the stuff I haven't even done, I receive a blessing upon it, because God knows I was intended. Let's move further. Number 3, and which is the most important one, Number 3 is the message. You see, God don't just do miracles or allow miracles to happen. God do great things through miracle. Yes. Number 3 is the message. Everybody shout the message. Because, pay me attention now, miracles can be temporary in its nature. But the message is forever. Or if you don't believe me, it was a miracle for Lazarus to come out of the grave. But Lazarus died later on. But you are still preaching today, 2,000 years later, about the message that the miracle brought. So when you see miracle, God is looking at it not to glorify me, but what message will this miracle proclaim to everyone that sees it? The water out of the rock was a miracle, but the water is no longer running today. But the miracle, the message is still deep with us. So the question now is, in this miracle of feeding 5,000, what is God's message? What is the message? We saw the means, we saw the motive, but what is the message? The message is a capital I, a capital AM, is able. No, I didn't say I am. I said the I am. So whenever you are in the midst of your desert and it's nighttime and no help around, the message of this miracle is that I am. Come on, shout, I am can do it. Come on, shout, I am will do it. Jesus constrained them. The last one we read, he told them, don't send them away. Feed them. Then after he said that, watch this now. This is the message. I want you to get the aftermath of communion. Communion is over now. Everybody shout, communion is over. Communion is over. He already fed them. You know, okay, you didn't believe it. Go back to verse 20. Let me show you the communion so you can be satisfied. And they did all eat. Okay, now you got it. And while, come on, and while, one thing we notice about Lori is that this girl don't get filled. She just eat. She don't get filled. But these 5,000 people were filled. And they took up what? Fragments that remained, 12 full baskets. And the baskets were even full, 21. So now, communion is over. 21. And then 21 says, verse 21, and they that had eaten were about 5,000 men and women. Okay, now we can go to 22. This is where I want to start. Let's go to 22. And straight away, watch this now, Jesus constrained them. He constrained his disciples. Listen, Webster gave me the meaning of constrain. And I heard it somewhere here. Is an appearing of a force or over control. Jesus, after the communion, he over control or forced his disciples to get into a ship and to go not with him, but ahead of him, before him, to the other side. While he sent his disciple away, he said, y'all get on the water, go away, and I will deal with dispatching the multitude. I want you to see this. This is the message. So his disciples get in the boat and they left. And he went to the full pregnant multitude and say, since y'all full now, y'all can go. Let's look at what happened, because Jesus separated himself from his disciples. And when he separated himself from the disciples, they went on the sea. He told them, go to the other side. Multitude, go home. But disciples, don't you worry, because by the time you get to the other side, I'll meet you there. He separated himself. Get this, he separated himself. Can I tear this up? He just helped the multitude and he sent them away. He just helped the disciples who couldn't feed what he told them to feed, and he sent them away. Principle number one: sometimes, and most of the time, you cannot hang out with those you need to help.
All right.
You cannot hang out with those that you need to help. Because those you need to help cannot see at the level you see. And they will be peeping while they are hanging out with you. But you don't need them to be stretching themselves. That's not where they belong. Sometimes those whom you need to help don't need to know you closely, because familiarity will brew disrespect. Oh, I come to preach to some people who say you don't do like you do in DYERSBURG no more. No, I don't. I'm almost 70. I was 50-something when I went to DYERSBURG. My anointing now is different. My place is, no, I'm too old to have big head. That's not what I'm talking about. Jesus separated those two people, because if the people you gonna help sometimes don't need to hang with you. No, you don't like that. Number two, those you need to help need to learn how to walk in your absence. They need to learn that they are walking with an absence. No, you didn't get it. They are walking with an absence. They recognize you are not there, but they are still walking, because they will never be able to walk without you being the crutch. They are walking with the knowledge of your absence. This is where leaders cripples followers. Because when leaders love you too much to allow you to walk in absence, then you become so dependent that you cannot function in absence of the leader. Why do I take young folks in their 30s and 40s and say, go to Caruthersville? You coming? No, I ain't coming. Go there. Go to FRAYSER. No, I ain't coming. Go there. Because in order to develop leaders, you have to teach them how to work in your absence. Oh, they know I'm there. They just know I'm absent. They know I'm praying. They just know I'm absent. They know I love them. They just know I'm absent. The first time Evangelist Turner would travel out of the country, she was shaking and got enough nerve to come and ask me to come and go to Rhode Island or whatever. I said, I ain't going. Because you have to learn to operate in absence. Are you with me? Number 3, God. Some people are your assignment, and you make a mistake to make them your associates. Oh, I'm talking to all of you with ministry, all of you. Not everyone that come into you becomes your associates. Some are your assignment. And everybody has a place. If you pull an assignment into the spot of an associate, you have defeated that assignment, because you will not be able to fill an assignment with an associate hanging with you. If they are your assignment, you are charged with their responsibility. And if you don't watch it, you will be guilty of mismanagement of your assignment relationship. Oh, I'm taking you there. We just at separation now. You go to the city, you go to the other side, and I'm going to the mountain. Because those that go back to the city are the assignment. Those that go on the water are the associates. But he himself went in a different direction. Oh, let's go. We pull people into the wrong place in our life. And when we pull them into that wrong place, we will not be able to help them with the charge that God has given us for them. Because you pull them too close. So now when they want to do crazy things, you can tell them don't do it. Because you pull them as an associate, and they are rubbing shoulder with you and say we are equal. But if you keep them where they belong as an assignment, when you talk to them, they will take your instruction. I'm raising children this morning. So we have to learn how to manage our journey with the present of absence. Did y'all get that English? We have to learn how to manage our journey knowing that absence is there. We have to learn what will Jesus do type of learning. That I don't have to dial the SOS number every time. I just need to do what Jesus will do in this situation. He sent them ahead. He sent them ahead because he don't want them to always feel him in order to go ahead. He don't want them to always breathe him in order for them to do. And sometimes you send me a text and I won't even respond. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just letting you learn how to go ahead without me holding your hand. When will you grow? When will you grow up? Somebody called me last week and asked me a question. I said, okay, you asked me that question. What will you do? Well, I just want to know what you will do. No, don't know what I'm doing. I don't have that problem. I want to know what you will do. Because I don't want it to do. Well, I'm doing that because Bishop said do it. You see my point? I want you to be settled within yourself. That I'm going to do. And this is a decision that was very serious. That if this person do that decision, it may have a negative effect on them. You know, so, and I know where the person is going. But I want you to be able to walk without holding on to me all the time. I have to grow you. Otherwise, I have failed in my assignment. I have to make you independent. Not that you don't want me, not that you don't like me. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I just want to see you. I'm an Elijah. I want to see an Elisha out of you. I want you to grow. So he sent them to the other side. He sent them to the other side. So when I ask you to make a decision, I'm sending you to the other side. And you have to be confident that I will be there when you get there. Oh, I was there before I send you. And I will be there when you get there. You see, because whenever you don't feel him, whenever you can't touch him, it's because he has gone around you to wait for you in the place of your obedience. When you get to the place of your obedience, when you get to that series, when you get to the place of your obedience, he'll be waiting for you. So don't get all hyped up when it looks like you can't hear from God. Don't get all worried when it looks like God is silent. God just did like he did to the disciples. He sent you ahead. But by the time you get there, he's already there. The separation was. This will help you with the aftermath. How long the separation was. And when he had sent the multitude away, he went up into the mountain apart to do what? To pray. Watch how long. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with wave, for the wind was contrary. Send them away. He went in the evening. Underline that evening now. We're going to get to it. In the evening, and he was there praying. Now the 25th verse will tell us how long. And in the fourth watch, this is the dawn. He went in the evening. They've been roaring in the... No, I'm not even talking about how long he's praying now. I will deal with that later. But he's been separated from them from evening till dawn. He's been separated from them from evening until dawn. They haven't seen him. He commanded us to do something, but we didn't see him. He put us into this tempest sea, but we didn't see him. He told you to give your money and landlord is knocking on the door and you didn't see him. He told you to go and make a decision on the job and now they ask you to come and answer a query, but you didn't see him. You step into something believing he will provide, But when he gets to the point where you need that provision, you didn't see him. From evening to the dawn. How far have they gone? Give me John 6 and 19. Let's see how far they've gone in the storm. Because when you hear the storm, do you think they are in one spot, roaring? But let's see how far they have gone, walking all night. John 6 and 19. So when they had rowed for 25 or 30 furlongs, that is 4 to 5 miles, they finally see Jesus. I've shown you the time that he went without him, from night to dawn. I've shown you the distance they have to go in the middle of the storm without Jesus. Question: how long are you willing to go without you touching him? How long are you willing to go with faith that he will be there when you needed him? How long are you willing to stand that he may not come when you need him, but he will always be what? He will always be on time. You sit down, you sit down. I want to get through. I want to get through. Let's look at these two situations. The multitude gone. We're through with them. The disciples, who we are really interested in what happened aftermath of the communion, were in the middle of a storm. The aftermath of the communion, they were in the middle of a storm. Let me say one more time. The aftermath of communion, they were in the middle of a storm. But can I break this into pieces? While they were roaring in the middle of the storm, where was Jesus? Jesus was on the mountain. You got it. Praying. While they are grumbling, where's Jesus? Jesus was on the mountain praying. While they are crying, where was Jesus? Jesus was on the mountain praying. But now we have got to a point in this message that John, the 6th chapter, collided with Matthew's, the 14th chapter, and both told us that Jesus appeared. And Peter said, I told you he's coming. No, you didn't. You were grunting. He looked, and here comes Jesus. So this is the message. Don't miss this. So when Jesus appeared, let's look at what happened. Why did Jesus was able to walk on the water? Because when he appeared, he was walking on the water. The reason for Jesus to walk on the water must have been locked up in what he did all night. What he did all night must hold the secret. But I want to mirror what Jesus is doing with what the disciples is doing. What was drowning the disciples is what Jesus was walking on. What was causing them all effort to row is what Jesus was skating on. Oh, what a needless pain we suffer. Could they have been skating like Jesus was skating instead of walking all night on the same lake. So what got them sweating? Jesus was skiing on it. Skiing on what was killing them. But another point. Jesus gave them more than half of the night head start. And took time, keep on going, to the mountain to pray. So the time you take to pray is not a wasted time. While they were fighting to go through 4 miles that last all night, Jesus was on the mountain praying. And because of the power of acceleration, when Jesus got up from where he's praying, it didn't take him no time to catch up with those who had a head start. I'm coming to let you know, don't worry about those who are lowering their standard and lying on your job, thinking that they will get ahead. Give them a head start. Give them a head start. Let them keep on going. You stay on your mountain, because what they're struggling with, tell your neighbor, I'm going to catch up. But my catching up will be with easy. Somebody shout water walkers. Come on, shout water walkers. Tell your neighbor you are in a company of a water walker. Come on, shout, you are in a company of a water walker. Can I help 50 folks in here? Only 50, I just want to help you. Listen to this. Listen to this. Peter separated himself. Even though he sank, but he walked on water. Watch this. Somebody shout exposure. Could it be that Peter would have never walked on water if he had not seen Jesus walking on water, and that brought about passion for the unseeable? Could God bring you here to expose you so you can see something that nobody has ever seen before? So you can see a man that they're trying to kill, that they're trying to put under, that now is walking on the waters of churches all over the world. Could God have telegraphed your being here to show you that I am is able? Could God be using this ministry to telegraph to you that nothing shall be impossible for you, no matter who is against you? I'll show you this last thing. Jesus was skating on the water. Peter was sinking on the water. Tell your neighbor they are both on the same lake. shout, same water, same neighborhood, same job. How come one is making it and the other is not making it? How come one is getting ahead and the other one is behind? How come one is getting rich and the other one remain broke? How come one is happy and the other one is sad? How come one is healthy and the other one is sick? Same water. Somebody shout, same water. So the problem is not the water. The issue is not the water. Tell your neighbor, quit complaining about the water. Water is not your problem. Because the same water that you are complaining about, somebody is dancing on it. The same water that you are complaining about, somebody is skiing on it. Tell your neighbor, it's not the water. I don't care if you're black in America. It's not your blackness. I don't care if you are a woman in America. It's not your womanness. I don't care if you are an African in America. It's not your Africanness. It's the same. If I can swim in it, you can swim in it. If I can slide in it, you can slide in it. If I can run in it, you can run in it. Somebody shout, same water. I gotta go. But can I tell you why? Can I tell you why? The reason Peter was sinking and Jesus was skating is because Peter wanted to do in the public what Jesus did in the private. Instead of doing in the private, what made Jesus walk in the... Shout yes! If you want to walk in the water, you have to do what he did when he was in the mountain. In the mountain, in the private. That's what will make you walk. When you get to the public, you can now walk in the water, but you can never walk in the public what you haven't done in the private. Shout yeah.
Thank you for watching. I'm sure you were richly blessed by this message. For more life-changing messages from Bishop Wesley Orije, visit us on social media. To know more about Pavilion of Hope, please visit our website at www.pavilionofhope.net or join us as a special guest for our transformation service every Sunday at any of our locations closest to you. Pavilion of Hope, where faith is renewed and hope is restored.